Do you have an unpaid council tax debt? There's often a lot of confusion about how long old debts remain valid. Today we'll be discussing council tax debts and how long you could be pursued to pay it back. How long you can be chased for debt falls under statute barred law. Statute barred law refers to a debt that has now become unenforceable because the time that is given to a creditor to chase their payment has passed. However, this does not mean that you can ignore your creditors and/or debt collectors for years on end and expect your debts to be magically written off. The limitation period starts from the last time you were in contact with your creditors. This can mean anything from when you last made a payment towards your debt to when you last acknowledged the debt. So if your creditor is contacting you, ignoring them will not start your limitation period. The limitation period only really counts when your creditor is not making any attempt to get their payment from you. So, under the UK's Limitation Act of 1980, a creditor has 6 years to chase most unsecured unpaid debt, or 12 years for some mortgage debt. I must reiterate that for these 6 years to count, you must not have submitted a payment or made an acknowledgement of the debt to your creditor, not even once. The limitation period does not count in the time during which you have been making payments to your creditor. Ultimately, this means creditors cannot enforce their debts through the courts after 6 years. But if you've already been taken to court and have a CCJ registered against you, then there's actually no end date for how long you could be chased. Do council tax arrears fall under statute barred law? If your council does not contact you in regards to your debt for over 6 years, you could definitely dispute their claims if they ask for the council tax payment after that period. So yes, council tax arrears will be statute barred after 6 years, but it's highly unlikely that your council will let that happen. They will almost always keep contacting you. If you have council tax arrears and you refuse to acknowledge your debts or make a payment towards them, your local council will most likely take legal action against you. What is a liability order? A liability order is essentially a legal demand for payment. Your local council can apply to a magistrate and get this order approved if you have been refusing to pay back the money you owe them. Your local council has the right to apply for a liability order 7 days after they have issued you with a final letter demanding that you make a payment. Any court costs that may have been incurred by the court will most likely be added to the money you owe them. This can be hundreds on top of the debt you already owe. A liability order will also mean that your debt has now no time limit to be enforced, and your local council can chase you for these arrears for an unlimited period of time. Your council can also apply to take money from your benefits in order to make up your unpaid debt. They can take money from your employment allowance, job seekers allowance, pension credit, or even universal credit. If you're having trouble paying your council tax arrears, you should contact your local council and explain your financial situation to them. You could send them a letter with a copy of your expenditure and income in order to get them to better understand your circumstances. In this way, your council may agree to a different payment plan that is more affordable to you. If you can't afford a payment plan at all, your council may agree to hold off on getting a liability order until you are able to sort your finances out. Of course, the best way to deal with any debt is by sorting your finances before things escalate. If you're struggling with debt, then there are options available here in the UK. Some are free to use and others will include fees, and each will have their own pros and cons. If you want to learn more about the solutions available, then we've created a really great form that you might be interested in. Click the link below and answer a few multiple choice questions like the total amount of your debt, how many people you owe, your living situation, and we'll connect you with one of our trusted partners so you can find out more and start taking steps towards improving your financial situation.